Emergency class tuning. What's up, guys? Petko here. I just woke up to a class changes. Not that they are a lot, but we kind of did expect something to come before the season, something minor, and finally they're here. Not what we wanted, but that would do. Anyway, let's begin and not waste your time. We are first having, as always, Balanced Druid another out above by 8%. They nerfed Elun's Chosen a little bit, as you can see. They nerfed the tier set of Elun's Chosen, and they buffed Aura buff by 8%. However, they also buffed Keeper of the Groove, which means I think the single target difference here is like 13% buff on single target for Keeper, and then Elun's Chosen only got around 2.7, 2.9% single target increase, which is, significant difference. You're going to be playing Keeper in the raid. Now the question is, are you gonna be playing Keeper in Mythic Plus? Maybe. I gotta be testing and start simming something. So keep in mind that this implicates a lot of things, because Balance was already doing very good AoE damage, and the single target was the biggest problem when playing a loose Chosen. Now there is another scenario where you actually play now Keeper, do decent, actually quite good single target, and also do good AoE. Which once again, if a Balance does good single target AoE, has every single tool to be part of the meta. Restoration Druid, on the other hand, is also quite strong. We're going to talk about it in a bit, but if Resto Druid somehow gets another nerf or gets any sort of nerf, and Disc Priest gets inside the meta, then Balance will probably enter as well. Which is something, guys, you have to pray you don't want to happen, okay? You don't want to have Boomie being meta back to back 3 seasons in a row. But for now, they've got another buff, which is, what can I say, chat? I guess it's expected at this point. Anyway, so Restoration Druid had a major bugs on that tier set. Finally, all resolved, they all fixed. And the compensation of this is they buffed the Restoration Druid, right? As you can see, historically, Restoration Druid has received some buffs. So that is the compensation buffs after the hotfixes on their bugged overperforming tier set. I'm not sure if this will come as net neutral. Perhaps it will be. I'm going to talk to some of the theory crafters about the Restoration Druid, but it's most definitely a step in the right direction. You don't want to have a bugged tier set that's overperforming. That is the best case scenario for you, because we expected that to get, for example, fixed without any compensation, in which case this was probably going to be better. But since they got compensated, well, massive W, I guess. Moving forward, Brewmaster Monk, Shadowpan. Shadowpan has been nerfed. I don't know if I think those nerfs were already in, but now they have a patch notes for it. I'm not sure, but this sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure that these guys, at least some of the changes were already in before they were announced here on the patch. But maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I'm completely wrong. We'll see. I overall expected nothing for Brewmaster because they were already in a good position, but good to see that developers are thinking about them. Shaman Enhancer, finally, the long-awaited buff for Enhanced Shaman. This is the first time when Enhanced Shaman was actually pretty bad, okay? So Lava Lash 15%, Wind Strike 20, Totemic buffed as well, Stormbringer Awakened Storm buffed as well. I think those buffs are just way too small. I gotta be honest with you, this won't do much of a difference in terms of raid performance. And in Mythic Plus, sure, they're welcoming changes, but currently their single target is the biggest problem with Enhanced Shaman. That is not going to solve the issue, and I believe they need a lot more to get to where they deserve to be. So I wouldn't be surprised if I see another round of buffs coming to Enhanced Shaman down the road, maybe into the month. But for now, I think they are gonna be considered, still weak in the raid. In Mythic Plus, they'll be somewhat okay. They also increased the threat generation of your Void Walker and Veilguard by a little bit, which is actually not too bad for Delphs, solo content. That's fine. I'm unsure if that's gonna be bad for Mythic Plus, because if your Veilguard takes aggro, because they increased their aggro generation by more than twice, if your Veilguard takes aggro in Mythic Plus and it dies, you're just gonna do 0 damage just Demonology. So I'm not sure if that's gonna implicate you. They nerfed Affliction, the old tier set Jackpot, that's whatever. They were performing really good right now in the first week of 11.2 patch in the old raid, but that's whatever. You don't really care about this because you're gonna swap the 2-piece next week whenever you get your new tier set. Protection, Mountain Taint, damage dealt by Ionizing Strike reduced by 30%. Sure, minus 30% damage from agonizing strike when playing protection warrior as mountain 10. I mean, sure, they're still gonna be amazing, whatever. That's not the big of a change. And that's everything so far, chat. That's every single hotfix so far. Keep in mind that Balance Red buff was the biggest surprise here because we only thought that they would get buffed in single target. Unfortunately, they also got buffed in AoE damage too, which the AoE was already good. Now, when something does very good AoE damage and has the same utility, even if the ST is not the best, it's commonly picked up. So I'm a bit afraid of this. And before we let you go, guys, we might update a tier list on Sunday, emergency update one last time, because our balanced rate placement was A tier. Now it is definitely gonna climb higher, which unfortunately for a lot of you, you don't like that, but it's the reality. I want to show you a funny tweet of mine. I tweeted on the August the 3rd. Today is the 9th of, not 9th of August. I tweeted, what if the patch begins? And a few days later, you see balance buffed and hands buffed. And as you can see out of this, both got buffed. And I'm saying here, insider rumors are true. Here you go, chat. So if you haven't followed this channel to stay on top of the news for a while, make sure you do so because we definitely have some insider stuff around, okay? Maybe it's just coincidence, I don't know. But anyway, see you guys on stream to test it out. And yeah, peace out. Bye for now.